So Haseul is the third member to debut in December 2016. Her color is green and her animal is a bird. Fun fact is that she was preparing to study opera in college, but after being recruited for Blockberry Creative at a music festival, she then debuted as a LOONA member. She said, "Even if I did study opera in college, I wanted to find a way to close the gap between pop and opera, such as becoming a opera singer."
Great.
Opera.
So she said it. Okay, let's hear some opera.
Oh, so Let Me In is composed by the songwriter Oreo, and the music video is shot in Iceland.
It's shot in Iceland.
Yes!
That's like my favorite
I
place.
love Iceland. I want my honeymoon to be on the one road that circles the entire island and visiting all the largest cities.
There's one large city. That's it.
I mean, all the large city and then small towns.
There you go.
3,
2,
1.
Ooh. Hashtag strings.
This sounds like the opening of like every like opera's like overture. You know?
This is a popper.
It was like the overture of an opera, but it's not long enough to actually be an opera, so now it's opera. Popra. Ooh, I love the pizzicato. Yes!
Ooh. Well, it's kind of like a weird like tango string thing.
But an Argentine tango. Yeah.
You can like, I can already tell that she's like a very like well-trained like vocalist just because like it's so consistent every time, like every syllable.
Like the little flute.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. You go from like a grassy field to the Glacier Bay. Ooh, the harp. I really love this texture here where it's like really sparse and you just get the pizzicato strings and the harp. That's great.
There's a lot
I'm trying
happening.
to hear the opera in her timbre,
I can't.
but she could just be like pushing through the vibrato, which makes it just very straight. This is the first one that we've heard like belt out of the three.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
Extra string run. Again, very classical jazzical in its harmonic progressions.
The little trills, it's so bird-like.
Yeah.
Especially in flute.
Wow.
A little bit of driving snare to push us to the climax.
She hunting herself in bird
With a diamond?
with a oh shit! She just take herself out? 2, 5, 1 to 4.
5, flat 5, 4.
Just too much to unpack harmonically in real time.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
What? That's it?
Well, that was a good ending.
That was crazy. First I thought
She
I was
got
like,
me.
I was about to be like, whoa, that was so unresolved, and then she came back on the screen and I was like, oh, maybe not, and then she just goes, son, and I was like, what?
Oh, it's some ASMRs. That made me tingly. That was weird. That was really effective.
Just high key did not resolve at all. No
Yeah.
cadence at all.
Yeah.
Just, well, I guess it kind of was a half cadence. That just feels really
It's just a
lame
free
to
piece of
call it
music,
a half
you know?
cadence. It doesn't.
It's like
I
a
feel like
bird.
it doesn't fit in the box at all.
And the song is like a bird too. It just does what it wants. I thought this last one was a much bolder attempt at orchestration, which is always really fun to sort of dissect in a pop song because a lot of people don't even attempt to do stuff like that. Like they'd rather like play it kind of safe, like with what they know.
Yeah, it also just felt like because there were so many instruments
that were involved in that song, whether they were present for the whole time or just kind of in there for little interjections like that flute, and then I think there were some other things that kind of were there for just a little bit, but it kind of made the whole song feel like more of a production. So I think that's really kind of cool. Like, as it didn't feel like it was just like, oh yeah, let's go in the studio once and like record this and then we'll leave or whatever. Like, it felt like there was a lot more put into it.
I never noticed this, but just really quick, the second to last chord, or rather the last chord, but what should be the second to last chord because the last chord is actually a whisper. That chord has a 2 added to it. It's a B dominant 7th plus 2. And that gives it a bit more like a poppy, jazzy, and almost like a stronger sense of dominance. A stronger sense of dominance. And so the last whisper comes as even more unfulfilling. It makes you just want to listen to it again. So Isaac, I didn't want to bring this up during our reaction, but did you know all the instruments are MIDI?
Yeah. No, because it was just like, it was so consistent with the way it like moved between. I was actually going to mention about how
go for it.
The strings actually, the way they did it was like, it's fine because it was so much in the background and you're so focused on the vocalist.
Yeah, now the latest in MIDI technology, it is Haseul's Let Me In. Way better than your average Sibelius MIDI sound. Like a lot of it is actually really passable almost. As long as it's not a bass instrument, a lot of the strings, you know, you can kind of neglect the fact that they're MIDI. So like, they're getting there. They're getting there. One day they'll replace us entirely, but they're getting there.
Honestly, I couldn't.
It almost was like the opposite to me, which could be because she sings opera and like to make the other style is
like
she really just has to like
the technique
get rid of the technique.
or something.
It's also so weird because like the way these things are produced, I feel like it gets rid of the resonance. Like
Yeah,
the
and so it's
natural
hard to tell.
resonance.
It's hard to tell.
I was expecting when you said that she wanted to bridge the gap between pop and opera, I was expecting her to do that with like her singing, but it seemed to me more that she was trying to do that with the accompanying music. Like there were definitely some like interludes that were a lot more classical or that like just like aren't typical pop. So I guess I was expecting her to do that a little bit more than the actual music.
Yeah, definitely, because I think that's the first thing I noticed was like, okay, her singing is very straight tone, like there's not a lot of vibrato, and it seems to continue to follow in that current, like that K-pop voice aesthetic where it's just like kind of not really a lot of depth to the sound, and it's just like, it seems to be like a singular like line going like this versus like, you know, vibrato and like even like those phrases being a little bit more goopy and connected and a little bit more dramatic because again, I felt like a lot of the drama was driven from the background and the choices that they used, which I liked. It was enjoyable, but it'd be cool if they had to use like real instruments, which is always the dream for us. I mean, she sounded good, but as far as bridging the gap, I feel like we could use a bigger bridge.
Okay, this is interesting, but this is the only one where like you hear the animal imagery in the music. But I think that might just be harder because bunnies and cats don't really translate easily into music, whereas like the flute is always a bird. You know, like Peter the Wolf, it's the bird. You know, it was interesting that they put the little trills in the flute and that it was so obvious, and then she appears as a bird and it's like very strange. I don't understand the whole hunting her part. Is she like hunting herself? Is this like, I don't know.
I thought that it captured the idea of popper pretty well. Because there are a lot of songs that are like this where they kind of use the strings as the main like musical voice / sound. And it definitely gives you that quasi-classical feel with the singer over top and whatnot. Because she didn't use like anything like vibrato or like, you know, those type of like very classic opera techniques. It wasn't so much like, I didn't get like an opera vibe. Maybe in the theatricality. That was kind of a big deal. I think she definitely nailed what she was going for though, for the most part, yeah.
I have so many feelings and emotions. I wanted to like be able to say, oh, well, they're doing this thing. Because like sometimes in the pop songs that I'm like, oh, this is really good pop writing, it's because there are songs that I know that are like, oh, it's like this thing that I know. This is like nothing that I know. And it's so good. Excellent. First of all the orchestral elements were like super well balanced. The percussion was really smart, I thought, actually.
Yeah, they had like the big chimes in there too, didn't they?
Yeah, they had the one moment where there's just like a big crash cymbal, like right, and like it interrupts it in like the most perfect way. And so the super huge zoom pan thing that they did as it matched up with the runs in from like high string to low string, just like gold. It was so freaking cool. I need to watch it again. I need to. Like, it's just, I have to watch it again. Like, because there's just, I'm gonna find like 10 million more things the next time I watch it, and then I'm gonna watch it again, and I'm gonna find more and more and more and more. It's just so, it's so cool.
Hello everyone, I'm Umu and I'm the channel runner of ReacttotheK. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you're curious about the videos that we'll be reacting to in the future, I put a link to a doc with our release schedule in the description. Last but not least, if you'd like to support our channel, you can help us out by pledging any amount you would like on our Patreon. On Patreon, you can get access to full unedited pair reaction playlists, reactions to Japanese releases, and much more. And of course, a huge shout out and thank you to our superstar patrons. Thank you so much for your support. Bye.